the abandonment, leading to a lifelong internal critic and low self-esteem. And you have relationship difficulties, which is struggling with trust and intimacy, often manifesting as anxious or avoidant attachment styles in adult relationships. So it will tend to avoid the relationship if you don't have that father figure influence in your life. Oh, boys, can we listen? We'll drum later when we finish. So the identity and authority struggles, unanswered questions about personal identity, and a harder time finding an internal moral compass or a sense of safety. Research in child development indicates that consistent, involved fathering helps children develop healthier responses to fear, anger, and risk. Without this, young people may swing to extremes, either engaging in dangerous risk-taking behaviors to find validation, or becoming overly cautious, which can lead to a constricted lifestyle. It is important to remember that these realities are statistical tendencies and not personal destinies. Thousands of individuals raised in single-parent environments develop completely healthy, successful, and emotionally secure lives. The presence of a strong support system, community figures, and a dedicated single mothers is incredibly powerful. But you need to find healing. So you need to identify the pattern, recognizing how the absence affects how you love, how you work, and how you see yourself. And also seeking mentorship, finding older role models, therapists, or trusted individuals who can offer the guidance and validations you deserve. And also challenging that narrative that if you are raised in a single parenthood home, you are not good enough. So if you're changing this internal script from I wasn't good enough to an understanding that the father's absence was a reflection of his own choices, not your worth. This is the statement that I had on the single parenting. I've got a scenario here of a child who's raised in a single parent home with a mother. I am a young girl, and I don't know what a father figure means in my life because I don't have a father. The only father I knew is my mom. And I struggle now, I've grown up, to find a relationship is now difficult because I do not have any good role model of who a father is. So even in myself, to find a father, to find a partner, a relationship with someone, I'm struggling. What can I do? Because I haven't seen any role model in my life. Because the only role model is my mother, who's raised me. The father, just a phone call on my 21st, that happy birthday to you, young woman. That is the only father I knew. What can I do? I'm struggling now to form any relationship. I don't know, do I need a man in my life? Help me. I need help, church. Yes, Elder.
I want to start the discussion by answering this way. If I can shout a little bit.
Technology.
Not reading the scripture, so reading it. I wanted to respond and say, for sure, that's a reality, that's a challenge. Not only from a family where a girl is being raised by a mother and she knows only the mother, and the mother is doing her best to support this girl. One thing that I need to highlight is the social and family aspect. Where the mother comes from, what is the social support system inner core. The second step that I want to take is the church now. If the girl and the mother are of any church, that church is supposed to be a support system. That support system has to engage. One, we identify single parents with either a girl child, a boy child. It is now responsibility for the church as women to be able to support those girls. If it's a boy, for the men to be able to support. I want to go back to your initial assessment to say it is a challenge. I wanted to draw back again to enlighten your scope of the question. The mother who has got a child, if the mother had a baby while in the church or outside the church and never lived with the husband, or the mother had a husband and they got divorced, the attitudes of the girl child in that situation is also different. What I'm trying to say is the girl child who is growing from a mother who has had a bitter divorce or she's never known the father is different. So the way also we would handle that girl child is different. So to answer the question, I know it's round and round. There is encouraging the family support, which comes again to the bottom of the question where if the mother got impregnated with a boy that has never known to the family, there is already rejection within the family circles to help the girl. If it's get that out of circle, is it the church circle now that we need to accommodate or find that need as women and as men to provide that support? That's
Okay. Okay, I'm a girl in the church. My mother raised me. She is actually the deacon, whatever leader in the church, the women's leader. Me, I'm in the church also. I'm in the Adventist church. But you're my dad. So this question is actually coming for you, my dad. My mom, she has told me everything. She hasn't told me whatever you did wrong or whatever. She just raised me to be a girl who I am now. So what I've seen from my mom's side, she's strong, she can do it alone. So I'm struggling now, I'm here at this point where I'm trying to find a partner or I'm trying to spread my wings. But my thoughts, I'm saying, Father, you are useless. So I'm asking you, my dad. So it's a question up to men. My mothers, you have taught me already, you have spoken. So this question is coming now to my dad. That you are just there, you have come in my life when I'm grown up, you've been absent. What do you want to say?
Yeah, that's a very difficult question, if I may be honest. Yeah, it all depends with the individual. Why have they actually disappeared from the girl's life from the word go? Maybe they are empty themselves from their upbringing, and they have nothing to offer to this child. It doesn't matter whether they are a Christian or they are non-Christian. If they have nothing to offer, they will offer nothing to this child. It's a challenge on its own. But if you are a Christian, you have got to try and learn and relearn the stuff that probably you don't have and equip yourself now looking at this child who is innocent, who is now supposed to be guided as to what relationships are all about. So it's now a responsibility to say, I don't know what to give to my child because nobody probably gave something to me as I was growing up. I'm also messed up, and as a result, hence
Thank you very much. Your answer should respond to me. You are my dad. So respond to me. I'm speaking to you. You are responding to me. So don't get any other scenario. I'm your child, your girl child, and I'm speaking to you. So give me your reasons of whatever, or any guidance that you want to give me. Elder Gwenya.
There is a point that Elder Jesus was touched upon. Now, as fathers, I know it is important for every child to have a father at home to help us somewhat. And thinking of what I can give my girl child, tell my girl child when they want to be married, if we are honest with ourselves, that bit doesn't come from us as fathers. Our job as fathers is to provide and make that everything, they are comfortable, they're sheltered. But that bit is played by the mother's side. Why I'm saying so, I look at my scenario growing up, 6 of us without a father at home, and 3 girls and 3 boys. All the girls have done well because they had my mother and my grandmother to tell them what are the world, when it looks at them, what are they expected to do, right? And what is to be a woman, how they should, and my sisters have done well, right? If I look at me and my brothers, it was haphazard until in the late of our lives because we didn't have a father to tell us what. I can look at my uncles, but my uncles don't sleep at our house. Sometimes our children don't need information and at the end of the day they don't see you. They need information and action. So our sons need our information and action where they see us. How
Speak to the daughter first, then we'll come to the son. Daughter first.
What I'm saying is I will struggle to tell what my daughter to do because I know I messed up in the provision bit, but how to for her to become a woman, and I cannot because that's the mother's side to do. My father, my job for my daughter is to provide and make sure that she's got everything that she's got. But anything that has to do with a marriage, most of it will come from the mother's side. That's how I see it.
All right, thank you. I'll just add on as a father also, although I'm a daughter at the moment, to what you have said. That's correct, but first thing, accept guilty. Accept that you are guilty. You've not been in the life, no matter what the circumstances. Acceptance is first thing that you need to do. Not to defend yourself, that because this, your mother, that, I'm sorry. Then everything else will come through. Yes, Mr. Nkomo, then Mr. Elder Mnawa.
I think your question.
Sorry, what time do I have? Because I've got one more scenario.
Okay. You now have 15 minutes left.
15 minutes left. Oh, there.
I think your scenario still has a lot of other questions that we need to consider when such a time comes. Firstly, who has come to who? Is it the daughter who has looked for their father wherever he is and then confronted them? Or is it the father who has come to the daughter? So if it's the father who has come to the daughter, that's a plus already. Because for him to come is because he's understanding what he has done. And he wants to make amends. So he comes. But in the event that is the daughter who came, it's going to be tricky. We don't know whether he's still where he was when he left or he has moved to another level. So it all depends. Number 3, it depends with the upbringing from the mother. How did the mother, yes, you highlighted that she brought her up well, but what do we mean with well? Did she bring her up to be independent, to be an independent woman? Like, you don't need a man to make it work. So if she has been brought up like that, no matter how the father has changed and is accepting fault and is willing to assist to make her see the other side, she will never see it. Because mom did it, and she also told me that you don't need a man to do it. So all those are questions that needs answers that will determine the final thing that the father did, the final act that the father did.
Okay. Hold them now.
Yeah, I think some of what I wanted to say has been mentioned in terms of, I think our parenting style is also influenced by some generational patterns that have happened in our own lives. And we often talk about generational cases. So if you have families where the men are all, or most of them are just irresponsible, just they have children all over the place and they don't take care of them, and you are brought up in that environment where you feel that as a man you don't have a responsibility. Once you have a child, that's about it. It makes it difficult for you to give an answer when you're being asked about what manhood is and what fatherhood is. So, and also the other point that I wanted to touch, I think Brother Paul kind of broke it down to say, I think if it's a situation where at some point the father realizes that he's made a mistake and he's come back to try and rebuild that relationship with the daughter with at the right time, I think the best thing that we can do is to acknowledge that you haven't been present and to listen to the questions that the daughter may have for you and try to model that positive behavior, and also to give assurance to say that the fact that I was an absent father, I wasn't the best role model, doesn't necessarily mean that every man on this planet is a bad man. Doesn't necessarily mean that if I get married, you get married to someone like me, because we have our unique DNA. We were created in the image of God, in the image of all the other men around us. Yeah, so it's about giving that an assurance to say, let not your own experiences of my parenting be a limiting factor. Because I like there's a statement that you shared in your presentation saying this is just a
Statistical, yeah.
statistical, but it's not a destiny. So I think the child needs to know that the fact that you were raised by your absent father, it doesn't mean that you are predestined to struggle with relationships, or you are predestined to find someone who's just as bad as your father. So they need to know that God is in control in all these situations, and He won't allow you to just suffer just because your father was irresponsible. I think
Yeah.
you can do that to try and reassure them.
All right. Thank you very much. At my time, sorry. Maybe later on we can bring it up. Mothers, do you want to add on this one, or I've got specifically for you coming next? Nothing. The mothers are quiet. All right. I'm a young man. No. Wait. You come, elder. No. Time for everything. I'm a young man, brought in a dad and mom family, the whole family. But I've noticed that my dad is not a dad as such. Mom is the dad of the house. She's the yes, yes. I'm trying to find the word, but yeah, that one, you know it, what I want to say. Mom is the one who is everything. So what I've noticed as a young man myself, I've come to a realization that my dad, I know in this country is difficult. You would want to do something, but it seems because mom has got a better paying job, or she's the one who's vocal and who gives the decisions in the family. Dad is there, he tries. But I'm seeing that dad is struggling. Even sometimes I can know he's got something on his mind, but he can't say it. So as a young man, I'm trying, if I'm vocal, I know my dad will be up in arms. He can beat me up, but he cannot do that to mom. To mom, he's quiet, he's the soft as wool. So I'm becoming to have thoughts in my mind that is it worth it having a wife when you can be this miserable? As strong as my dad is, as intelligent as he is, But it seems that he's weaker in the way he does his things. He's suffering because of mom. So is it worth it that I can get a wife or be like dad, miserable like dad, or I can be single with no misery in my life? Brother, you've heard it in my audio to my friends, in my phone. You've just heard that audio. What do you want to say to me, mother? We didn't talk, we just heard that audio. I was speaking to my friend, I sent to my friend about my family situation. So you've heard it. Yes.
Can we first comment on the problem before we answer?
Okay.
Can we comment on the dynamics of this family before I answer this side?
Yeah, you can go on.
Okay, from what Audrey is saying, I think the family is very dysfunctional because the wives are supposed to submit to their husbands and the man is supposed to love the wife. That's how God created it. After sin, one need to submit to the other for him to work. So when it's this dysfunctional now, we want to know why is this man quiet? Why is he irresponsible to a certain extent? Is it because he can't find anyone? Why is it the mom seems to be doing so much and then he's doing nothing? What is the problem with this man? Maybe that's what we also need to know. Is he trying? Is he, because men are supposed to be providers, isn't it?
He tries.
Okay. How?
Dad tries. Dad does he tries.
Okay, I still feel there's a bit of, I think the men should do more. Because men are supposed to provide for the house. That's how it was created by God. That's the plan. The wife is not supposed to provide. The wife is his helper. So why should the men be comfortable with the wife providing? But that's where the problem is.
Okay. I'm still on mom. Dads, I know you've got the response, so keep it calm. Moms, can you speak to your son? Yes.
There's a tendency of, especially African men, and I'm talking about African men, and this is from a lot of experience working with people. They have a tendency of keeping quiet as a solution to everything. It works for them because it's like I can't engage in a conflict. She will soon keep quiet. She will soon go over it, and that carries on. So what it does, it creates a lot of anger and resentment from the woman. So that any moment she has a trigger, she'll just explode. And this goes on and on and on. So you can call it stonewalling. They use silent treatment as a means to avoid a conflict. But by doing so, they're actually breaking the what? The relationship. Because this woman won't just come and shout and attack out of the blue. It is years of keeping quiet. She might bring up a topic. I'm worried about our finances. What's happening? I notice you're not working. What should we do? Quiet. And that carries on. And I'm sure there would be men in this house that are using that weapon, but it is a spoiler. It kills relationships because there's no resolution. You cannot discuss with a person that is just keeping quiet. Because men, they are not good at fighting in terms of words. And if they tend to reserve themselves because they can get too extremely angry, they become physical. So they try silence, but silence doesn't what? Work. So you look at this young man, he has grown up in these dynamics. The father is always keeping quiet. He doesn't respond, he doesn't communicate, and he's afraid. So he's looking at the mom as a monster. I wouldn't want to have a mother like that, but not knowing the root cause of how this mother got in that place. Many women are very afraid about what the future holds in terms of finances. And men, they won't want to engage. You say, just leave it. Don't worry about it. But why would a child be concerned about the future of of our family? So it's important to have those conversations. And finances, if you go into statistics, is one of the things that has led to breakdown in in relationships. If you look at the majority, about 65%, relationships have broken because of finances. And the reason is because there's no transparency, there's no discussion, it's every man for himself. And for women, they will fight that fight until the relationship is broken. So I really, truly empathize with any child that is growing up in that kind of environment. So what can you do? What can I tell this young man? First of all, what this young man is looking at is not a representation of every other family in the future, neither his own to be. It's just reassuring them. Sadly, they don't have the power to cause their parents behaving that way towards each other. But they can choose to become a different person. I've come across young men that say, I don't want to be like my father. I don't want to be like my mother. You already can tell the difference. Doesn't mean because you've grown up in this dysfunctional family that you're going to be like that. So you can learn lessons that are contrary to what you have seen. It's like, for example, if you are a believer of God, we have a higher standard. God has set up a way that we can learn how to live in relationships. So whether your father's relationship didn't work or your mother's relationship didn't work cannot dictate how yours is going to be. But if you try and focus on your Heavenly Father, you can be able to have a successful relationship.
Thank you very much for that contribution. Mothers, it's your time. Because the fathers, they are eager to speak. They are free in the church of God. At home they are quiet. So, yeah. Any more from my mothers who want to contribute? No, mothers are quiet. But you've touched one topic which... Yes, that topic. Communication in a family is very important. Sometimes as they say, fathers, you need to listen. You need to speak out, especially if there is a concern which has been raised by your dear wife. If they raise a concern, you need to respond to it, not to keep quiet, because we do keep quiet. As we are tough, even if the police are looking for us, we can be smiling now here and so forth, but if you hear that you've got a ticket from speeding, you'll be crying in the house and so forth. As men, that's how we are built. But when it comes into those situations, we need to speak to each other as partners, because now it does affect the whole family. Because now this boy child is looking as if the father is being tortured, but the father is not responsive. He's just quiet. Everything, a situation, just quiet. So the mother will tend to do everything because you are just quiet. So we need to speak out, fathers. Yeah?
What if there is no room to speak out?
Speak out. You need to find some way to speak out.
Yeah.
But, yes.
The scenario you painted.
Yes.
Right. The mother wears the pants in the house.
Yes.
Right. So, in that fact, there is already a problem here that is even seen by the children.
Mm.
Right? So, unless and until both the father and the mother, yes, speaking out is important, but at times it's not speaking out to the same person that you have a problem with, because it can escalate the problem. At times it's important, especially in our African culture, we no longer have aunties or uncles that we can rely on to sort out our problems. But there is counseling that can help to realign us. So at times it's important definitely to seek counseling, because this man might be quiet simple because he realizes that talking will escalate the problem to the other level. Right. So it needs now some intervention of some sort to help with the situation. Because maybe he has tried, this is why he is now quiet.
Yeah. All right. I'm left with 5 minutes. So be quick. Elder Ngwenya, then Munawa Nkomo.
I think the other thing is we need to choose what we fight our wars. So if you're going to come to me and talk to me in front of my children and expect me to react, definitely I'm going to keep quiet and just prepare.
Yes.
I would prefer say, okay, we sit down and talk. Two, is the way you bring about things, right? Is the way we bring about things. If you're going to come to me charging as a bull, definitely, I know if I charge towards you as a bull, then consequences are that.
One bull, four.
So sometimes we try to avoid all these things, not knowing by so doing, you are given names in the house.
Yeah.
But the choice of
Words.
words, when to talk about it
Yeah.
and how to talk about it. I think because earlier they just mentioned that we had all these setups in the past that used to help us. They are not all, these uncles have got their own problem.
Yeah.
So even the church, you can't trust the church. You come with a problem in the church, guess what? They're talking about it outside there. So you don't know who to trust. So the best thing is that family on its own, they need to find a way of dealing with their things and finding solutions.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the most important, my mothers. You need to have respect of my father. Respect is very important. As much as we've got rights in this country, as we have said, African, whatever, wherever we come from. But in this country, it says we are all equal, but in the eyes of God, have respect of the husband. He's the head of the house. And no matter what, whatever he earns or what position he has, just that respect is everything to a husband. My fathers will be very happy if they are just respected. And the second one is the timing. Find time where the children are not there. Because as children, if we see you arguing of those things, we will even tell our dad that you don't have money, you. Those shoes, my mom bought them. So position or place of speaking of those situations is very important. Find time when you are together. Just speak together when there is no children around. Then they don't even notice that there's a problem. The children will say, we are millionaires. As such. Me, I even got a call from my child's school. I used to hold cash the times I was working, I would bring them home. And my child is telling his friend, my dad is a millionaire, he's got big cash in the house. And the teacher had to call. So those are some of the things that when you discuss in the house, take the children away. Don't discuss most problems when the children. But if the children are involved, then you need to speak with them together in unity. But your own problems, don't speak when the children are there. Because the children will notice who is the weaker one between these two. And they will challenge. 2-3 minutes now. What do you have now?
Yeah, I'm sorry to add that I think when you look at the law in this country, I think it's tilted in favor of women. So if there's any domestic incident that happens, it's most likely that men will be arrested first and then released and investigations happen. So men have also learned that if you also try to be as confrontational, maybe as the wife, as dominant in this conflict, you are fighting a losing battle.
Oh, yeah.
Because the law is slightly tilted in favor of women. Another thing is, what I want to say is, communication is good, but over communication, it also ruins a marriage or a relationship. If there's any, there are some, I think everyone makes a mistake, but there are some mistakes that can easily be ignored. But if you are being communicated to about the slightest of things every day, you know that when someone comes from work, I'm going to get a lecture of 5 things that I've done wrong today. Tomorrow, 10 best things, you know, 10 worst things you've done. The other day, so you just give up and say, you know what, I'm not going to engage in this anymore. So you are using not communicating as communicating the frustration that you have.
No, thank you, Domino. Last year, Dangomo?
Okay, thank you. I think somehow we kind of ended up diverting from the advice that needs to be given to the young men. And we haven't given the young men advice yet. But we're now busy trying to sort our differences as mother and father. Yeah, but the most important thing before I try to help the young men, between husband and wife, it is very important that we understand where we stand in the trio of God God says, husbands, love your
Wives.
wives.
Is
Wives, respect
Respect,
your
yeah.
husband. It doesn't say wives, respect your
God.
love your husbands. The reason why is, if I bring you chocolates, it's going to be a good thing that you can talk about it the whole week. But if you bring me flowers, I might not even recognize that they are there. And then you complain that I don't recognize the things you do for
Me.
because that's how different we are. So the most important thing is to understand each other than to use assumptions. Most marriages, we are using assumptions. We are thinking that he should think the way I,
Think.
and I'm thinking she should think the way I.
Think, yeah.
It will never happen because I'm a man, you are a
Woman.
woman. Your duty is to try and think the way I think, and my duty is to try and think the way you. Therefore, we reduce conflict. Because what you do to please me. What I do to please you.
Never.
But if you do to please yourself and want me to think the way you think, there's a problem. But anyway, that's not the question. The question was kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect scenario of what's happening in most homes now in the UK, especially for these that recently joined into the UK. Where they came through, usually it's the wife. Because when we're back home, when we're planning, okay, so if you go first, then I can
Follow.
follow. So if you go first, already you have an upper hand. We don't mess with your job. Because your job is what's making us be
Yeah.
here. Therefore, there is a high chance of abuse of that kind of authority that you now have. Because you now have me in your
Hands.
some, they are doing it because they are revenging of how it was before. And it is happening and it is very practical. But here comes a scenario where the child is being raised in such a family,
Yeah.
where the mother is the COS holder. If you play with me, I will take you off. Is the threat you are always getting in the bedroom. If you play with me, I'll take you.
Off.
What do you do as a man?
Quiet.
You do like that man. Because if you talk, you will be taken off the COS.
Yeah.
And it is very practical.
Yeah.
We have seen people who have been taken
Yeah.
off. It is very practical.
Yeah.
Now we have a child who's been raised in such a family, and it's now visible that because she's the COS holder, and I'm supposed to go for my shift, but she's not yet back home. I can't go. I stay with the kids, and I get fired from work. It's okay because we are protecting our immigration. But if she feels like taking an overtime, she can take it anyhow without even checking with
You.
you. There's nothing you can do.
No.
That's what it is. Now kids are seeing it.
Yeah.
Now kids are seeing it. So now kids are seeing it. How do we assist that young man who wants to get married? They are now afraid. If I get married, I'm going to be like Dad. You need to sit down with your boy. Make them understand the situation. But the most important thing you need to teach your child is it starts from the very beginning. When you are choosing a wife, it's not you who chooses a wife, but it's God who chooses a wife for you. If God chooses a wife for you, this might not happen to you. Probably, I prayed with one eye open. Already I'm eyeing somebody, and I'm praying to God to give me a wife. And when I opened my eyes, she was standing in front of me. Because already I was looking at her.
Yeah.
So she could not, it's possible she was not God sent, because a God sent woman, whether she's a COS holder, she will never threaten you with it.
Amen.
She will understand that even the time you come, she will give you money before you start working.
Thank you very much. My elder.
Can I differ slightly there?
Uh,
We cannot leave it on that, what Brother Koma has said last. You cannot take a child and put her in between your walls. Right, that's very, very dangerous. Right. This is a challenging situation. The child, yes, is seeing the chaotic situation happening between the parents. But now if we sit down to discuss the parent, we are causing another problem with the child. Because this is her mom. Right or wrong, if I now sit with her and discuss with her that way, I'm building another behavior or another character that I may not be eradicated from that child's mind concerning women. So it's important for us to get sorted as a couple and not fight our wars with children. We ruin the children when we fight our wars with these young people. So it's important for us to sort ourselves, and then when I talk to the child not the same way as the mother is behaving, because this is her mother. She cannot change it for anything. This is the most important thing. She cannot divorce the parent. I can divorce the mother probably somehow because they've sent me back home whatsoever, but the child will never divorce the parent. So it's important how I present myself to this board concerning her mother, that I present the mother with dignity.
All right. Thank you very much. I've allowed it because men, they said they don't talk. I've given them time. They have opened up. So I think you've heard. So thank you very much, mothers and fathers. But the most important thing is when God created Adam, it was not good for him to be alone. He gave him a partner. So you are in a partnership. So in this partnership, you are not living alone as well. You can see that there is people who you have brought into this world. You decided, they did not choose these children to be in this world, to be raised by you. So make sure every decision that you make, it will affect the children, either good or bad. So mothers and fathers, whatever your marriages or setup is, let it not affect the children. Make sure that the children are raised in a God-loving relationship. Fathers, speak to your wives. Love your wives. If you love your wife, you don't keep quiet to someone who you love. And mothers, respect your husband. You cannot talk the way you talk to someone who you respect. Because I know if you are invited to Buckingham Palace, you put nice things, nice clothing, you speak with the other accent when you are over there. But with your husband, aye. All right, fathers and mothers, thank you very much for your discussion. We've got two speakers, they might touch that. So we've got two more speakers.
Okay, thank you. Probably I was a little bit misquoted there. I didn't say discuss your things with your child, but I was bringing a scenario that we understand. Probably I would have done this. Each and every time, we always praise our wives in front of our kids, no matter how bad they are. Each and every time we praise our husbands in front of our families, no matter how our situation is. I have a scenario of my brother. My brother had a problem with his, it was a girlfriend then. She got pregnant after she had lied that she was on contraceptives, and he was very angry, and he didn't even want her. She tried to come, we tried to family back home, they really tried by all means to make him marry her, but he didn't want. He said, I'll take care of my kid. And then there was a span of about 4 years without him seeing the child. And then one day he saw the child, and the way the child was brought up, there and there made him want to marry the girl. Because the mother didn't take all the hurt of being abandoned and taught the child. She taught the child so good about the family of the father. And my brother said, if she's like this, then she's worth marrying. And now they've been together 23 years. Okay, I think we could be a little bit tired of sitting. Maybe if we can just sing a song. My brother Blessing, you can help us. I'm not so sure what hymn it is, but Stand Up for Jesus. Yes, maybe we can stand for Jesus. Anybody who has found what hymn it is? Thank you. The song is saying, stand up for Jesus. It's saying, in whatever circumstance that you are in, you need to stand for Jesus. So I've been given the opportunity to talk about a small subtopic which says that Adventist man in a changing society. Adventist man in a changing society. We'll give it a little bit twist, and they will simply say Adventist in a changing society. It could be a man's day, but the message to the man is still the same to the woman. Now if we look, the society we are living in is fast changing. You know, there are things that we used to do back in the days that meant no harm, but if you do it now, it can get you into trouble. Forgive me if I can say something that might get me into trouble, but I'm just trying to bring a point home. Back in the days, if you see somebody dressed like me, you could simply safely say, he is coming here. But nowadays, if you say he is coming here to me, it might get you in trouble because you don't know what I want to be called as. That's a fast changing society. Things are changing. So you, as an Adventist man, how are you fitting in this society that is changing? Somebody with a Bible, can you read for me 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 18. 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 18. I always prefer somebody read it for me so that we keep each other engaged.
1 Corinthians 16, verse 18.
Yes.
Be on your guard, stand firm.
Okay. The first part is saying, be on your guard. Who needs to be on a guard? Why do you need to be on a guard? Back home, we used to have people we called guards. You remember, we have people we called guards because their duty was to guard. Why would we need somebody to guard? Why would we need that? Oh, 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 18. Why do we need guards? Because there is danger. There is danger. That's why we need. If there's no danger, then we don't need anybody to guard. We just leave it like that. But because we anticipate danger, or we have heard of our neighbors being involved in danger and they didn't have a guard. Now when Paul is writing to the Corinthians, he says, guard yourselves. Which means that there is danger. It could be already amongst you, or it could be approaching. And then he says, guard yourselves. And then what does he say?
Stand firm in the faith.
Not only guard yourself, but stand firm. Because when danger comes, even if you're on guard, imagine that you have a security guard, and when danger comes, he flees. What's the point of having him? Yes, we had a guard. So sometimes you can guard. But when danger approaches, then you say, this is not the danger I anticipated. This is far more than what I can handle. And you take off. But in this case, Paul is saying, don't just guard, but stand firm. That's where there is the biggest challenge of today's society. Most of us, we are guarding, but when it comes to standing firm, we are not standing firm. Can you just finish the verse?
Be courageous, be strong.
Be courageous and be strong. Whatever danger that is coming, if you are on guard, stand firm, don't move. If you read history books, they tell us of wars that were fought back in the days, before guns and all. They were using swords and they will use shields. So they will fight in a formation whereby you have to stand firm. If you are in the front, you stand firm with your shields, you block. The moment you open, the enemy penetrates. So we guard. When we are guarding, then we say, we are attacking. You simply open a little bit. Then he puts his spear. He comes back. You close. So this is exactly what Paul is talking about here. that guard yourselves, stand firm, and be courageous. And you know, back then, soldiers, they actually wanted to be at the front because they had so much courage. But nowadays, we want to be at the... How many of us, when they were watching a movie and things are happening, and you see people still coming and they are being killed, how many of us have said in their heads, if it was me, I would have run away long back? You realize that most of us, and this is what Paul is saying, we are not supposed to be like. So men in a changing society, stay guard, because things are coming which are danger, and we need to stand firm and be of courage. So what are some of the things that are coming into our society which are posing danger we need to stand firm for and be courageous and guard ourselves against? What are some of the things that are posing danger to today's society or today Adventism? Deception. Can we say?
I'll start from leaders.
Okay.
It presents involving what the receivers get to find out that some deceive.
Yeah.
And then you get disappointed and then
It's something which is really, really true. That our leaders, how many of us they celebrate when a new president has been elected? We celebrate for 2 days, and then on the third day we are crying again, oh no, this is actually worse than the one who was there. You know, it happened in my country after so many years, and then the president changed. And people celebrated. People marched to try and force him out of office, the old president. And then he said, okay, you want me out? I am out. And then we celebrated. It didn't even take 6 months. The new one, those same people were marching for him to be there. He started killing them on the streets, unleashing the army to his own people. And nothing was done. What I'm saying is deception, and it doesn't end in politics. Even in church, we have a lot of leaders that we have chosen to lead us into heaven, but they are leading us somewhere else. Some of them are very outspoken. You know, we have big people in the Adventist church that have gone out of the church and they have taken almost half of the church with them. In Zambia, we have one powerful speaker, one powerful pastor who has taken a lot of people. In Zimbabwe, we also have one. Up until now, he's still taking people and going with them. He's even taking pastors. Deception. What are other dangers that we are faced with? Yes.
I think there's displacement in terms of gender roles. I think most men are actually affected whereby they don't know what it is to being a man anymore. They're just males.
Most men are now just males. They don't even know what being a man is. There is an evangelist who was talking a few days ago, and he was saying we have a problem of people who think that if a wife is staying at home, is an unemployed somebody. Because staying at home is far greater work than bringing bread on the table. Because you are shaping people's lives. Now, because of changing society, we are faced with a threat of our kids growing up with cultures and norms from strangers. we cannot raise our kids anymore. We have to look for a nanny to look after them. Or we have to ask a father to be the one raising up our children. And fathers are not created that way. Fathers are created because I always realize that at home, my wife doesn't want my kids to do other things. And I'm like, why don't you want them to do this? Just let them be. It's like, no, I'm like, I don't see any harm. But females are gifted in seeing harm before it strikes. But now my kids are being raised up with me. Now in church, they are running around everywhere. They can't even sit down. But if my wife is there, she will only look at them and they will sit still. We have women who have taken the roles of men. When men are in the house, as a man, you're like, oh, yeah, my wife has gone to work. My wife has gone to work. What about you? I'm looking after the kids. No, for some of us, it's understandable because COS, yeah. But you understand where I'm going. That these roles have shifted. These roles have shifted. What are the dangers are we? Yes. I know you like this one. So that men can hear you.
Men can hear me. Addictions of all sorts, including sexual perversion.
Addictions. And addiction, usually we just think of alcohol and cigarettes and drugs. But it's addiction of a lot of things. A lot of things. Addiction of work itself. You're addicted to your work that you forget other important things. You don't think of anything else. So all these, they are dangers that have been foretold and we have been told to guard against. And we have been told to stand firm. Now as men, what is it that we are doing to nurture this standing firm and this guard and the courage? What is it that we are doing as men to make sure that these dangers do not affect our families and the church?
One of the things is we have to know our doctrine and stand firm. The best anniversary says stand firm. You can only stand firm on something that you really know. Yeah. So when the winds of change are coming, where if you want to define someone, whether you want to define someone as a man or a woman, you have to pull out an encyclopedia to try and say a man must be this, a woman must be this. To the extent that here in the UK we have to go to the Supreme Court to help us define
What a man.
For us to be able to withstand those kind of winds, we need to ground it into what the Word of God says and what our doctrine is always saying.
Thank you. There is I think it's Finland, which arrested a certain pastor for reading a verse. There is a verse in Romans, I think, which talks about men leaving the natural use of women and making use of one another. Yeah. She read that and she was arrested. And she sought asylum here in the UK. And it seems like they will grant her, or they've already granted her. I didn't really follow up the issue. Just like what Elder is saying, that we need an encyclopedia to be able to understand, my brother, are you my brother or you are my... Something which was so ordinary when we were growing up, you could simply say, a boy and a... Now, in our schools, there were rumors, last year, there were rumors that they want to stop it to say she or he in primary schools. Because what if he doesn't want it to be a he wants to be something else? Yeah. But now, what Elder is saying is we need to study diligently and understand the doctrine of God. Now, when we talk of the armor of God, because with the armor of God is the only things that will actually take us to heaven. Because everything is defined there. The helmet of salvation, the bracelet of faith, this of that, this of that. But if you look, when we are talking of that armor of God, we are having all defensive instruments. And then we go back to the wars that were being fought back in the days. They used to have a shield. They would block the enemy. But how long could they block? Do you think they would block and win the war? You need to attack in order for you to win the war. And there is only one attacking instrument on the armor of God, which is the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. This church used to be known as people of the book. But we can have a sermon here that can be preached during divine service and somebody doesn't quote a single verse. Because we are diverting from being a people of the book to being a people of the society. Trying to please the society. Yes, you are on guard, but when it's coming, you are fleeing. You need to stand firm. Not only firm, you need to be courageous as well. Now, courage is coming in you being able to advance towards the enemy and being able to strike the enemy with the word of God. Okay? Anybody else who has got... Yes, Elder.
Yeah, we are talking about men and we are talking about what we need to do to stand up in the counter.
Yes.
And last week I was watching this woman who used to practice witchcraft, but as a doctor, not as the one who goes about killing people, but those who come with their problems.
Mm-hmm.
She said she started doing it when she was 6, and now I'm talking of a woman who's in the 50s, 60s, but she's now Adventist. And she said one thing that she learned when she was doing that there is no home that's not guarded with. Is it the devil with these people, even their homes?
They guard them as well.
If they have to dig and put bottles there with whatever, they'll do it to protect their home. And she says, for an Adventist or for a Christian, the only thing, and she said, man, the only thing you can do to protect your family is to make sure that you dig holes in your home of putting prayers inside. Not that you have to go and have water and pray for it, no. You have to pray yourself. So she finished by saying, if you're a parent and you can sleep from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning, you wake up, you pray 2 minutes prayer and walk when you've got children, they're still praying. They're still playing. So for every parent, our job now is to, where are our kids now? Do we
They're
know
not
what they're
here.
doing? We don't. Job every time when the children are not there, in case they have sinned. So this is what we're supposed to be doing. We need to start to pray for our children that we've never prayed for.
Thank you. Prayer is the only connection between us and God. If there's one thing that reading the book, there are people who are reading it so that they can deceive us. They know it so well so that they can deceive us. But when you are praying to God, you are praying to God. So you need to mix this and prayer. That's what can help us to stand firm as Adventist men in the society.
There's a verse you quoted, which many take out of context, Ephesians chapter 5. And they start from verse 22. It's very popular. Wives, submit your husbands. And then husbands, love your wives. Now, in verse 21, the Lord summarizes what he's going to talk about. He says, submit one another. Because you can't earn respect without giving it. So one of the things that has led to a lot of relationships breaking down is the lack of the love part of it. And even when the Lord says love your wife as Christ loves the church, you need to break it down. What does it mean to love? Because loving is not just a bare feeling. Now, men from Africa, I'm going to be about Africans because we have a lot of Africans here. Love is about working and providing. Sadly, that's how many have been brought up. As long as I provide ABCD, I work so hard, what is it that I don't give you? That's where it ends. And when they come in this society, I've seen women leaving their marriages or even committing adultery because the love is not there. So what is the love of Christ? The love of Christ is a principle. It's not a feeling. It's a principle of consideration, considering this other party as in a companion that you cannot abandon and work 24/7. Women are very, their love language is always not just acts of kindness as men think. It is words of affirmation. It is expression. It is compliments, all of that, and is lacking. Now, Christ uses it. He says, I'm a friend that never leaves. I'll never leave you, forsake you. My love can never change for you. Can you imagine if you use the language of the love Jesus gives us? No marriage could break down. So as you read that book, combining it with prayer, we need to put it into what? Perspective. And then we'll be able to resist any danger that comes our way or overcome any storm that comes our way. Amen.
The biggest challenge is misconception, not really understanding what the book says. If we could comprehend exactly what the book says, we wouldn't have so many problems in this life. Especially that same verse in Ephesians, when God says, men loves your wives. That's the beginning of it. You know, the respect that men are looking for is just reciprocal after being loved. Okay, 5 minutes. After you love your wife, then she respects you. She doesn't start by respecting you, then you love her. And remember that Christ is saying, love your wives as Christ has loved the church. Christ loved the church in its lowest point. So my brother, you are not supposed to say to my guru, I'm not loving you because you have done well. I'm loving you at your worst. And then when you can love her at her worst, what about when she's at her best? Then we will not have all these problems. So, man, it's all beginning with us. And remember that we are the custodians. And women are following on us. We can never blame it on them. Yes, my brother.
If you plant love, it will come back multiply.
Mm-hmm.
If you plant hatred,
It will come back.
abuse, it will come back multiply back to you again. So it's something which we should learn as men, that if we put our love, then we'll get a better reply, which is better than before. If we plant it, what you plant is what you get. So you better plant it nicely so that you get it very nicely.
Okay, thank you. But the thing is, when we are planting love, we have no planting it nicely or not nicely, because you are planting love and understanding what love is. Love is God. For God is love. So whenever we say love, we are planting love, we're simply planting God. Can we just read 2 verses and then we close? Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Romans chapter 12, verse 2. And somebody else, can you please open for me Joshua chapter 24, verse 15? That will be our last verse. And then we hand over to the next person. Yes. Do not be conformed to this world. Yes. Yes. We just need not to we just need to understand that we need not to be conformed to this world, and all we need to do is to understand what's just and what is good and acceptable, perfect will of God. That's all we need to stand for. We don't stand here for the will of another man. We stand here for the will of God. So if a pastor comes and stands there and preaches what is not the will of God, we don't stand for it. We stand for that which is. Is there anybody else who wants to say anything in 30 seconds? Yes. And then we read our last verse.
In a changing world, as men, to our women, when we start doing these compliments and whatever, the actions of love, they don't need to say, why are you doing it? Because the way you respond to the way you won't do it again. So to bring flowers, don't ask why are you doing it.
I will respond to my elder as another man. If you see her asking you that, it's because you don't do it. So the question is, why today? What is it that you have done, or what is it that you want? Let's make it a habit of doing it. These women, they love the compliments. They love the compliments. At home, I am in trouble because I have a problem of not complimenting. Especially when she comes with the hair and this, that. I just don't see it at all.
I feel sorry for our children.
Yes.
These are our sons and these are our daughters. Hey, these are our daughters. After you buying a private jet, they say, thank you, darling. What are you going to do for me? So, what are you going to do for me?
No, thank you. Let's read our last verse and then we can hand it to the next person. Joshua chapter 24, verse 15.
But if serving the Lord seems undesirable.
Okay. Joshua now, there is a problem in the camp of Israel. There is a serious problem. And then Joshua realized that I am failing to actually sort out this problem. And then he says, can you say it again, Elder?
But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you,
If serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, choose ye this day whom ye shall. But, let's go.
whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Ephraimites or the gods of the Ammonites in whose land you are living.
Okay, so now choose you this day who you shall serve. Whether you are going to choose a God who provided for your forefathers in the desert and helped them to cross into this land, or you are going to choose the gods that you found in this land. So Joshua is simply saying, it's up to you now whether to choose a God that can defeat the other God that you want to choose. Because the God of their forefathers had just defeated these gods. So he's now saying, it's a simple mathematic. Choose the conqueror God or choose the defeated God. And then what does he say? Now here's where it's very important, because it gets personal.
But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. This is what's supposed to happen in each and every Adventist family. Make it personal. For me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Adventist man, it is a time for you to be able to stand and say, yes, the world might be going this way, but as for me and my house, I will choose the Lord. May God bless the reading of his word.
Thank you, Brother Sena and Brother Nkomo. This last part will just be to sort of round off most of the things that we've spoken about today, right from the morning. I'll be leading you through an exercise to see what it means to be an absentee father. An absentee father. And just to be sure that we are speaking we're speaking the same language. Fathers are only men. Fathers are only men. Because these days, we need to clarify some of these things, like Elder said. In the book of Exodus, especially in chapter 29, God said something to the children of Israel. He says, I want to be with you. I want to dwell among you so that you can know me and I can know you. Does that sound like a father who wants to be absent? No. So God wanted to be with the children of Israel. And throughout history, even up till today, that is still the will of God concerning our relationship with him. As children to a father. Down the line, after the children of Israel, well, even during the time of the children of Israel, when they were on their way back to the promised land, God instructed Moses to do something. He said, let them build me a sanctuary. For what purpose? That I may dwell among them. Is that an absentee father? That is a present father who wants to dwell with them. Remember that even at the beginning, we know that when sin came into the Garden of Eden, God attended to our first parents in the Garden of Eden. At what time was it? The Bible mentioned it. In the cool of the day. What did God do? He came to be with his own children. So God has always wanted to be with us, to dwell with us, to dwell amongst us. Even when man sinned, God still wanted to dwell with us. And so we have the promise of Christ, of a coming Messiah. Remember the prophet Isaiah? And the virgin will be with a child, whose name will be called what? Emmanuel, meaning God with us. So throughout the ages, God the Father established his presence with us. He dwelt with us. He always wanted to stay, and he made sure that he stayed with us. Despite whatever happened, despite how many times Israel failed him, despite how many times we have failed him as well, he always dwelt with us. But what happened when Christ's earthly ministry finished? What did Christ say? He said, I will speak to the Father. I will ask of the Father to send you who? Another helper or an advocate who will dwell with you for how long? Forever. So we have God's presence. So God still dwells with us in the person of the Holy Spirit, even today. God is not an absent father. But today, do we have absent fathers? Elder Senna brought out that very, very well during his session. And I want us to spend the next 10 minutes or thereabout to answer some few questions. I prefer us to sit in groups. Can we do that very quickly, in 2 minutes? In 2 minutes. At least 2 men, 2 women on each table. So if you have more than 2 women should move. So 2 women can come here, and 2 men from the back can come here. Let's do it very quickly so that we can. At least 2 men and 2 women on each table.
Some ladies need to come here, do they?
The young people, can you don't have, I don't want anyone at the back. I want you around the table. I want only 4 groups on the tables. There's only one woman here. Okay, 2. But Keswa, you can come to this, you can join this table. Pastor, come and join this table.
Shepherd, you want to get it?
Can you put those sheets of papers? Can you put 2 on each table? So Z is going around, he will give you at least 2 sheets of paper. And for the questions, to make it quicker, you are all going to answer 2 questions. One will be a common one, and the others will just be individual to your own table. Okay.
So say again the instructions so we wait.
So there will be 2 questions for you. The first question is for all the groups to answer. And the question is, why are fathers absent? So you need to tell us why fathers are absent. What are the causes? What causes fathers to be absent from the home? So we're talking of from the family, yeah? That's question number 1 for all the groups. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go around and then tell you the second question on your table. Okay, thank you very much. I hope we've rounded off with our exercises. Can I have a group to volunteer to lead out in question 1? And what I want you to do is you'll give us the answers that you've provided for question 1, which everyone has. And when they've listed all their points, if you have additional points that they've not mentioned, you signify, and then we'll add on to it. Is that okay? Thank you.
Why are fathers absent? In our group, we have here first, work, death, divorce, pleasure, mixed priorities, migration, and displacement, being absent while present. That's it.
Thank you. That's a good point. Did you hear all the points? Any additional ones?
Family disagreements, which can have legal consequences. So, for example, when there's a disagreement between mom and dad, and then they go to court, there's a order put in place, like a no contact order, which means the father becomes absent and is legally obliged to be absent. There's also struggles with addiction and mental health issues, which means people or the men just live very transient lives. They have no fixed about, so they're all over the place. There's also fear of responsibility. So some men just disappear because they want the responsibility of raising children. Some just choose. So I think these two maybe out of personal choice. But it may be that there was no agreement when the child was born, or they were not. Yeah, it wasn't a planned pregnancy. So just say I wasn't informed that was going to happen. And there's also the issue about their own upbringing. So if they've been brought up in an environment where there's lots of absent fathers, it becomes normal to them, and they just perpetuate that behavior. Yeah, I think the other ones. Then also they may not know. So I know there are situations where people just meet up for like on a one-off occasion. A child is born, but the father doesn't know.
Thank you. We'll see that there could be a lot of reasons why we have absent fathers. Any additional?
We still have some few additionals in our example is incarceration, or fathers are in the prison, so there's no physical presence of the father, and also early pregnancy. Sometimes they're not ready to be engaged in marriage, so being pregnant, they don't want to. The father also doesn't want the responsibility. It's all to the mother, so it's going to raise the children.
Thank you. This group, any addition? Yes?
Could be that the other family dominate in the part of the kids. They are more teachers than men inside. Men tend to quiet. That's the same much that the suggestion does. Find that it's operating for those who apply who are indicated to provide. And the other reason, not choice of friends. Choice of friends.
Who are with your friends, quarreling and drinking, forgetting the father.
Thank you.
Running away from responsibilities.
So we can see the long ways of what would cause a father to be absent. Now we go to effects. Who's got the effect on the children? There are two groups. Two groups have effects on the children.
isolation, broken relationship, example, is struggling to maintain a relationship with other opposite person, rejecting God, and the last one is abuse.
Thank you. Any additional
I want to give struggling with identity. The child is struggling who they are, knowing who they are. And the others that you mentioned, and poverty, lack of financial resources, and the risk of being exploited. And lacking a male role model in their life. Please very much.
so that the effects are a lot. Effects are a lot. So what's the effect on the mother or the wife?
If you're working yourself to provide for the family, if one is not there, taking over father's role, the children will lack discipline. They lack manner of discipline. There's no father figure to correct them and do what they can to be respectful when it comes to that age. It can be too overwhelming for the wife, and then she meets the wrong friends, the wrong she will make mistakes. She can, how do I use the word? She can start making new friends. Her friends can be advancing her, and then she's going to make new friends. She can be looked down upon by the ones who talk about her, this woman that the husband is not there, which can cause her some mental issues as well.
Thank you. That's a lot of weight for the wife of the absent father. Okay, yeah. What's the effect on the absent father himself?
On himself.
Yeah.
Lack of bonding, the role is affected, low self-esteem, he is guilty, unruly behavior, depression, affects spiritual life, which comes two ways, which is either grow closer to God or farther from God. And then affect by formative years of the children because they haven't seen their children growing up. And then affected by the children's response to his absence, especially when the children are saying, if only you were here, life would be different, and then regress.
So when we look at all this, all the effects, who is affected the most? The children are affected the most, followed by okay. I can get two opinions. Who is affected the most the next?
I think it's not depends on the next one.
But given the list that we just shared, it appears as if the man is affected the most. He's losing out a lot. Although the weight seems to be more on the mother. But if you look at the effect, it's the man that suffers a lot.
But how can it miss if
Okay,
there was
okay,
another family?
maybe he doesn't even think about
He
it.
might have another family.
It might be, but the effect is a lot on me. And what I'm bringing out from this is that when a man chooses to be absent, it's not doing the wife a favor by being present. It's actually doing himself a favor by being present. It pays him to be present. And that's the encouragement I want us as men to take out of this today. Many men, I think we highlighted that earlier. Some men will become absent deliberately. Yeah? When they become absent deliberately, they think they are punishing the wife or the children. to imitate him. So as men, let us know that children do not only need quality time, but they also need quantity time with us as fathers or with both parents as well. We know that we live in a very busy world. We have busy schedules, we have a lot of things that we want to do, and we struggle to find time for anything. But for everything that we want to do, we are able to find time and reason for it. So the call for us this day as men is that we should follow God's example and live with our family. We need to make staying with our family the priority on the list of our no negotiables. We have things in our lives that we never want to negotiate. And I think staying with our family, just like God wants to dwell with us, should be on the top of that list. May the Lord help us be able to do this in Jesus' name. Amen. Brother,
But actually an experience, not my personal experience. I know this lady who was here before her family. Her family came to join her. She had 2 boys and then the husband, the king. So because of the African culture, the wife cooks, the wife serves, the wife cleans, all that kind of thing. The man was used to it. So when he came to England, the wife would come back from night shift. He would sit down on the table, get my breakfast. The lady was still like, oh, my husband is here. She was still responding to that. She was serving him and said, get me water to wash. They have their dining in the kitchen. All he needed to do was stand up, go to the sink and wash. He asked the woman, get a bowl and give me water to wash my hands. Clear the table. You finish eating, leave the plate. This is somebody that came from night shift. But she was too ashamed to share anybody. She was taking on that. And upon that, any mistake is a slap. He was just getting pleasure, hitting the wife, and just doing anyhow. The husband, the father, you know. I think one of the days, the woman had the baby carried, they had the third child, a baby girl. So she carried the baby when the husband slapped her. Wanted to slap. So she dodged the slap and hit the baby. And her lip just split. So she had to call the police. But before then, he got a job. And he went and beat the lady that was rude to her at work. I have a woman that I command in my house. You can't be rude to me. He went to beat the poor white lady, and that landed him in trouble. But it was the wife that went to tell them at the police station that he had some mental issues. They released him. He did it again to a neighbor, slapped the wife of a neighbor, saying, you can't be rude to me. I have a woman like you in my house. You know that kind of a man ego. Lesson is dead now. He didn't learn his lesson. And one day he just carried his back and went back home that I can't do release consent. I married a wife so that she can serve me sort of. So he left.
but they never saw a father figure in how these things are done. Sometimes you don't need your father to tell you how to be a man. You need to see your father 24/7 when they do actions, all these things. And this is a man who's grown up, he's got children, but still doesn't know what it is, what exactly that man can do to be, because he didn't have it.
It was outside. It was outside. First of all, I heard somebody say, such cases you can seek counseling, you can seek mentorship, you can seek the word of God. So you missed out. Now you find yourself in this predicament of not knowing. But there's so many other resources you can reach out to. Equip yourself with the knowledge of how to nurture your own family.
Thank you. I know. Do you mind us as men's ministry carrying over some of those things on the next ministry? For the men, I think we'll sort ourselves in our regular meeting. It is important. Yes. This one, yeah. In the last year, I'm being reminded, Brother Ngwenya, when we sat down in our men's last meeting, I think it's one of the topics that came up, but we only chose just this one. But this one again, we have not touched everything because we did put 3 speakers just to brief the items. But you would see some of the elements that discussed today, they needed more time. Help us again in the next time. I think we're going to structure only maybe 2 subjects and get deeper into it, including those ones. What I'm realizing and picking up from this Damien's ministry, there is a lot that needs to be done by men. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
There is a lot that needed to be done by men. Just referring to what he is saying, I spoke earlier in the advisor that Christ mentored the disciples. We as a church, we're still lacking the mentorship of men. Even mentoring ourselves amongst us is still not there. Our boys are growing. Are we providing that? I will come to that age when I'm out of age. This is the expectation. When you grow up without a father figurehead in the family, you grow up, it's a hit and miss whether you did it right. But this body of Christ, when we meet as men, we need to identify those things and start talking about it face to face. Men, the tendency is we keep it inside. Women, blessed, when they have something else, take it off the chest. Hey, come on, tell you something. They take off the chest. But we men, we end up having some of the diseases that we can all talk about. We keep it bottling in. But I pray that, some of these meetings we have as men, one thing that brings together is the trust, confidence, not to be judged, to discuss openly, and you find they are synonymous around a lot of men's families. But how we deal with it differs. I want to tell you, the same issues happen around the marriages and family. It's not only a family relationship, it happens in many. But how each of us respond to those circumstances differs. But if we find a response that gains mileage, that builds relationship, that is more positive, the result that we will tend to learn. But they won't apply to everywhere. So this men's ministries, it is a learning curve. When I talk about learning and to be content, it's a discipline, things that we need to learn over time. Some of us who grew up, maybe people who grew up without the father hands, they miss down. Some of the things they will never catch up with them. But for those that they have, they need to influence. But how do we do it? I pray
tell us that men had a very serious topic and we are not very happy that they did not attend in their numbers. We had a serious issue here which we needed them to be present. And they took even our children away. So we are not very happy. They need to take it to their platform serious, that way, a serious topic. We needed their presence and their support, with our children's support. And they are not here, they just brought a few ambassadors. Around. So the ambassadors send this message to your platform.
Can I also say that, put it in your platform, that men, today was going to be men's day. Some men are absent.
No, we know where they are, and we are here.
That's the problem. Some men are absent.
And we always support women's ministries. We can come all day.
Yes.
Okay.
They are
Now,
there.
those are now the technicalities of throwing the chairs.
That's
No
the
politics. I'm
No,
okay.
no, I expect all of you men to stand up and say, on behalf
Okay.
of the men, we appreciate you ladies for what you do and all that. None of you will stand up and say,
Okay, okay. I'm here as a men's ministry leader. Let me tell you, on behalf of the men, we want to thank all the present women that are staying this afternoon. I'm a privilege. Thank you for raising the banner of the women. You stood with us, but we express our concerns and the things that we want to do. We never take you women for granted. Let me tell you, sometimes, yeah, I know there are things in life that happens. We're not naive. Some may be going to a shift nighttime, but the woman won't sleep. These are the cares and things I was talking about. That there's a lot of things that are happening, and they drive away our focus on Christ. Should I blame someone who's going to night shift tonight? Maybe they're on a contractual hours to do it. They need to wrestle that they don't make mistakes. So me concluding, in coming the afternoon to support this, I don't want to be judgmental. We can only pray for them and I wish they could support us. But as my brother, I will get in touch with my sister. As when we spoke something else, but we want your help as men from the women's ministry. Me and me to you, I will come and talk about that. Because if we start managing our expectations of women and you manage the expectations of men, we'll find that we use the word, what we can do for you and also you what you can do for us to create a rhythm. And the primary thing again we identified here, no kids should be involved within the two people. Because these are the people that suffer quite a lot. Quite a lot. Quite a lot. We know when parents, let's create this habit. Some women or men naturally just want to fight it. You don't do that. Let's mature as we grow. Because that's the learning platform. That's the platform where we're learning. Me as a man, you as a woman, there are things that we give us the day where we've come to worship, to learn and to study and give you honor and all glory. We focus on the things that man we ought to do and how the church can move forward. Such are the challenges that we've identified that we need to rectify. I want to pray for the men that are here present and the women that are here present. Father, may you bestow blessings upon each family represented here today. Such are the friends and family that couldn't be with us this afternoon. Lord, may you guide them. May you protect them. As we venture into the beginning of the week, may you be with each one of us so that we can go and represent Christ and his character. May you mold our character into your likeness, not that we've done anything good, but we've accepted your grace and your love. May you drive away the challenges ahead of us and give us strength to hold on and make a resolve to stand by what we know. When all is said and done this side of the earth, may you prepare our names in the book of life, so that when you come to take those that love and trust in you, our names may be counted in that number. Thank you, Lord, as we are going to go to our respective places. Be with us, travel with us, and keep us safe. Until then, in Jesus' name we pray, amen. Amen.